Welcome to Pickle Flick. If you got an MSI Claw A1M and feel like it's underperforming, overheating or stuttering in games, in this video I'm going to show you the 5 things I did that helped mine. These changes gave me better FPS, lower temperatures and a much smoother gaming experience overall. So if you just picked one up or you're struggling to get the performance you expected, then this video is for you. If you enjoy handheld gaming tips, optimization guides and performance tweaks, then please make sure to subscribe. Let's start with the first and probably the easiest change, switching to performance mode in the BIOS. To do this, fully shut down your MSI Claw. Once it's powered off, hold the RB and RT buttons down while pressing the power on button to boot into the BIOS. Inside the BIOS, look for the performance preset or system mode option. Depending on your BIOS version, it may be set to balance by default, so I recommend changing this to performance mode. The reason this matters is because performance mode allows the system to prioritize higher sustained clock speeds and aggressive power delivery. In simple terms, your CPU and GPU can work harder for longer in demanding AAA titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or even emulation with higher end systems. This can make a noticeable difference in FPS and overall responsiveness. The downside is that it can use more battery and generate more heat, but if you mainly play plugged in or want maximum performance, it is 100% worth it. The second thing I changed was disabling core isolation in Windows. To do this, open Windows Security, click Device Security, then Core Isolation and turn Memory Integrity off. You'll probably need to restart the device after. Now before anyone panics in the comments, yes, this is technically a security feature. It's designed to protect your system by isolating critical processes using virtualization based security, but the trade-off is that it uses system resources in the background. On a full gaming PC you might not notice much difference, but on a handheld like the MSI Claw, where every bit of performance matters, disabling it can reduce CPU overhead and improve responsiveness. In some games this might only give you a couple extra frames, but in others it can help reduce micro stutters and improve frame pacing, which honestly matters more than just higher FPS numbers. The third thing I changed, and probably the biggest game changer, was increasing the TDP in MSI Center M. If you don't know what TDP is, it basically controls how much power your CPU and integrated GPU are allowed to use. The higher the wattage, the more performance they can deliver. Now open MSI Center M and go to User Scenario or Manual Mode. From there, manually increase the TDP to 35 watts for both AC and DC. This gives the processor more power and more headroom, which means higher sustained clocks and better performance in demanding games. For example, in games like Elden Ring or Starfield, I notice way more stable performance compared to running at lower wattage. The trade-off here is battery life. At 35 watts the battery drains much faster and the system will run hotter. So if you're travelling or trying to conserve battery, you may want to lower it. But if you're at home near a charger, 35 watts is where this thing really begins to shine. The fourth thing I did was to download ThrottleStop and disable CPU boost. Be sure to click save so the changes take effect. I know this one sounds weird because CPU boost sounds like something you'd want on, but hear me out. CPU boost allows the processor to spike to very high clock speeds for short bursts. The issue is, on the MSI Claw, those spikes can cause temperatures to rise extremely quickly. Once the system gets too hot, thermal throttling kicks in. That means the CPU and GPU slow down to cool off, and your FPS can suddenly drop or become inconsistent. By using ThrottleStop to disable boost, you sacrifice a little bit of peak performance, but you often get smoother gameplay overall. Instead of bouncing between high FPS and sudden drops, your frame rate becomes more stable and your temperatures stay lower. This is essentially useful in longer gaming sessions or in games where frame pacing matters more than raw FPS. For example, in open world games or emulation, I'd rather have a lock stable 45 FPS than fluctuate in 60 down to 35. And finally, the fifth thing I changed was to increase the Windows virtual memory. A lot of people ignore this setting, but it can make a big difference in certain games. To change it, search for View Advanced System Settings in the Start menu. Under Performance, click Settings, then go to the Advanced tab and click Virtual Memory. Uncheck Automatically Manage Page and File Size, then manually set it. I recommend a setting of at least 16 gig or even 32 if you play heavy AAA games or do emulation. Virtual memory acts like a backup RAM by using your SSD when your system runs out of physical memory. So if a game is using a ton of RAM, instead of crashing or stuttering badly, the system can offload some of that data to the SSD. This can reduce crashes, reduce stutters and improve overall stability in memory heavy games. The only downside is that it uses SSD space, but honestly the performance and stability gains are worth it. After making all 5 of these changes, my MSI Claw honestly feels like a completely different device. I saw lower temperatures, better sustained performance, fewer stutters and more stable frame rates across pretty much every game I tested. So if you own an MSI Claw and you're not happy with the performance, try these settings and let me know what kind of differences they made for you in the comments. And if this video helped, make sure to like, subscribe and join the Pickle Squad, and be sure to turn on notifications for more handheld gaming optimization tips, game setting guides and performance tweaks. And with that, see you in the next one.